Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the schmoes know, this is Guilty Movie Pleasures. In-depth discussion on movies, no matter how guilty they make you feel.
What is up, Guilty Movie Pleasure fans? We are here. We got a special double feature for you today. I'm really, really excited about it. My parents are here from Pittsburgh. My dad is at the desk, Big John Macuga.
Hey, John Macuga.
Always to my left, my co-host Ben Begley. As you guys can tell, I'm standing again this week because we only have a couple more episodes in the studio.
Yeah. Right when I moved down the street from the studio. We moved the studio back to exactly where I'm moving from. No joke.
It's sort of like a magnet, just bouncing you back and forth.
I will be a half a mile away. I could walk here, and now you're moving to a half a mile away from where I currently live. Mm-hmm. It's like
it's like the showdown. It just screwed you.
Just totally screwed me.
Totally screwed you. You guys know me. I'm Josh Macuga at Josh Macuga on Twitter, at Ben Begley Comedy on Twitter. You also know him from his Hallmark movies. I mean, he's been in upwards of 150. My mom is a big fan of his. This week's movie, I believe, was called Love, I can't see you. My eyes.
What was this thing?
That was me reading Braille.
I love that's part of the title. Is that you have to do that in order to.
Love is Blind, and to Ben's left is my dad, John Macuga. We're in town. One of my best buds. I'm the best man in his wedding this upcoming weekend, and my dad chose The Phantom, 1996's The Phantom as his guilty movie pleasure. Now, let's just say, my dad, you could say you're a big comic book guy.
Yes, I am.
And so, I mean, you were a huge Superman kid growing up. Is The Phantom your favorite comic book guy?
Yes, because he's human. He like Superman. You can't be Superman in everyday life.
True.
Pat Wilson tried. Mm-hmm. He bought a Superman suit.
Who's Pat Wilson?
He was my neighbor.
I like how Dad just says Pat Wilson, like we're supposed to know.
Pat.
Yeah,
I follow him on Instagram. Pat Wilson.
Good.
At Pat Wilson Superman.
Right. And he used to run into phone booths when they had phone booths.
Sure.
And he'd take off his clothes and he'd have the Superman
suit. And then he'd get arrested
suit.
a lot,
right? And showed us he was naked. And,
so when you're 12 years old, it was kind of... But the Phantom...
Wait,
but the Phantom
I'm sorry.
is human.
Just before we get onto this, did Pat Wilson wear the spandex Superman outfit under his clothes almost all the time?
All the time.
Wow. Pat Wilson also kind of weird. A little bit of he was the weird neighbor. He was the Andrew Chadwick of New Brighton. I had a weird neighbor growing up. He used to flick air. That was his thing that he did.
I had a weird neighbor. He'll remain nameless because I'm still friends with him on Facebook.
And if we could cut to my mom, my beautiful mother is here. She's on the couch. She'll be a part of our double feature after we talk Phantom. Guys, just so you know, as if you're watching live, we're going to be talking Phantom for about 20-25 minutes, and then we are going to go take like a 2-minute break, and we're going to bring my mom up to the desk, and all four of us are going to talk Legally Blonde, which is one of my mother's favorite movies. Mom, hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. I just want to tell you that Pat Wilson is not the only person that dressed up like Superman. Your father has dressed up like Superman many times. For business meetings,
yes,
for parties, for Halloween.
But
wait, were you like a Superman for hire, like a Santa, like a?
He was also a Santa for hire.
Santa.
He does own a Santa suit also. Yes.
I had the greatest.
John
Superman
Macuga is a man of many costumes.
Yeah, you're a jack of all costumes. Yeah. This is amazing.
I had the greatest Superman shirt of all time. So I went to college in a little town called California, PA, and we needed a costume to go to this party one night. And so I'm in this little store, and they have this Superman shirt that actually is not a T-shirt. It was like spandex, and it had the Superman thing that
it was like Under Armour before Under Armour.
And it actually had the Superman crest on the shirt.
Wow.
And so I put the rest of the costume together. My brother and I were going. My girlfriend was going as a bunny, and we thought it was a Playboy bunny.
What a slut, right, Mom?
Not according to Elle Woods.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well done. That's a perfect time to Legally Blonde. Woods, L. Okay.
So anyway, and my brother's date bagged him in the last minute, and he was going as this gorilla. And in the party, I was dressed in a zoot suit from the 40s, and he was going to come in his grill and start harassing people, and I was going to rip my clothes off, and I had the Superman suit underneath. And that was my first exposure, right?
Yeah.
And so now he can't come to the party because you have to have a date to get in the party.
Oh, no.
So I said, my brother's name is Ed, we call him Bear. I said, Bear, go out on that porch and push this. I'll leave the window open a little bit. You push the window open, come through. Now it's time. Everybody will be like freaked out because I was trying to break into the party, right?
Dad, like son.
I can see. Yeah, I can see where.
So I go pick
everything.
pick my date up, and she is dressed like a real bunny. She had wrapped herself in saran wrap and glued cotton balls all over.
That's
her.
a hell of a lot of cotton.
Right.
So wasteful.
I was gonna say.
So wasteful.
All night,
It's a
guys
back
are
team.
picking the cotton balls off, and strategic points to see what was going on. And so
That was one classy broad. Let me tell you.
And then everybody was disappointed that I came dressed in a suit
Yeah.
with glasses and one of these Clark Kent hats, And so all of a sudden my brother comes through the window, and I rip off my clothes, and I have the Superman suit on, and I run full tilt, and he pushes the window open, and I dive out the window at him. And he's going to catch me, though. But he doesn't catch me. And I end up in this bush. I come in, I had sticks sticking out of my ears. It was pretty
There
funny.
we go. See,
But then that started it.
Yeah.
And then people would say, hey, could you be Superman for this? Could you do this?
And it's unfortunate
amazing.
that you never had a full purple leotard, unitard, like Billy Zane here in The Phantom. Now, we always talk on the beginning of the show. Listen, hold on. Ben was not a fan of The Phantom.
In my defense, I had never seen it until last night.
Uh-huh.
If I had seen it in '96, I think I would have thought it was a very fun kind of Rocketeer-ish movie. But like I told you in a text, watching it.
But let me defend.
Okay.
Okay. Rocketeer, great movie.
Yes.
Dick Tracy, great
Fantastic movie.
And you said Indiana Jones.
I said, yeah, it's like Indiana Jones, Dick Tracy, and Rocketeer had a baby. That baby grew up, became best friends with Billy Zane, and they made a terrible movie.
Come on, it is not terrible.
It's bad.
Ben, it's not bad. There are very cartoonish moments.
His outfit is adorable.
But that's what the Phantom is. He's a purple man.
I know, but just Billy Zane's face inside of it, it just pushes his little cheeks out and his little lips, and he just looks so cute the whole time, like, I'm gonna fight evil. It's just like, I don't know. I started to try and rack my brain. Maybe it's not the Phantom that's the problem. Maybe it's Billy Zane. I don't know if I can think of a
you should listen to your friend Billy Zane. He's a real cool dude.
I can't think of a single movie I've liked Billy Zane in except
Titanic?
Zoolander and Titanic. Name another Billy Zane movie.
The Phantom, and I think it's a great movie. Now, if you guys want, this is the first time we've ever brought a VHS on the show.
Wait, open it up. It has the $2 Blockbuster video.
Blockbuster
$2 fee if you don't rewind
Be kind, rewind, guys. And also, there's no price on the back, but Blockbuster Video, September 12th or March 12th,
1997.
Yep, still has a thing. I believe I got this for you for. Present, or did we buy it at Blockbuster one day?
I think you want to get for a Father's Day gift.
That's an early buy.
It's early.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe or it had been sitting on the shelf for 4 months.
We saw this in the theater. You and I went to see this in the theater. And we walked out, we're both like, that was awesome. This movie's
How
awesome.
old were you in 96? You were
14.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So
I would find this awesome at 14.
It was awesome. And then we watched it a bunch of times, and then we rented it, obviously, and then figured why not buy it? Because now, for me, I guess, and you, this is a really nostalgic movie for me because it reminds me of you, reminds me of watching it in the basement, and I legit really like this movie. Now, watching it as a 33-year-old adult, I realized that, yes, there are some very cartoonish moments in this movie.
Like the entire movie.
Come on. It's not the entire movie. It's kind of, okay.
It's kind of the entire movie. Treat Williams is a walking Looney Tunes character.
He definitely is.
He's definitely.
I'm Treat Williams, everyone. I took acting lessons from old radio
The
shows.
Skulls of Tuganda. Yeah.
He's so
Come
bad.
on now, kids. Come on out to the ballpark.
And Catherine Zeta-Jones is the most one-dimensional bad guy that eventually flips for no reason at the end. She's just like super evil and just hates everyone except her boat full of women. And she's
that
like,
boat full of women, let me tell you.
How come they never go back to that?
I don't know.
There's a boat full of women in their underwear showering, and then they never go back to it.
Jonathan,
Sorry, Mom, earmuffs.
Jonathan, I believe we have the one sound clip where he goes, "Oh, excuse me, ladies," or "Ladies, pardon me." That's when he walks in and he like jumps, he busts in, he's like, "Please!"
Guns
like,
drawn.
Ah! Yeah, play that again for us real quick, Jonathan.
Kindly pardon my
Kindly pardon my error.
Excuse me, I'm just a man dressed in a purple leotard.
Now, you remember, he was educated at, in Harvard or one of the Ivy Leagues. And
Which you don't find out till halfway through the movie.
Right.
I had because since I didn't know any backstory of it, I was just watching this like, who the hell is it? What is going on? And then halfway through, it's like, he has like this Clark Kent thing, like, hey, good to see you again when we went to school together, and I've just disappeared because something happened with my father. And it's like, what? How did you get all this training so quickly?
Because he's the Phantom. And like he says at the end there, Jonathan, nobody refuses the Phantom. Am I correct?
Right. No one.
Oh, that ending. That ending's one of the worst endings I've ever seen.
Oh, come on.
Oh, it's one of the greatest.
It's a great endings. You don't know if they're married or not. It's open-ended for a sequel. Come on.
And then they made a sequel.
Here's how this movie cost $45 million to make and made $197,000 at the box
In the U.S.
No way.
In Australia, it made $5 million.
And it made $5 million. So $5.1 million after a $45 million budget. Not exactly a success. Why don't we do the plot in under 2 minutes? You ready?
I think you and your dad should take it.
1. Okay, I'll take it. So movie starts out, and I guess because you have the comic books, it starts out like for those that just joined us, right?
I like that. That was cool.
And the guy from Warriors plays the bad guy. There he goes. My dad's got the comic. There we go. I can hold that. You can hold that up. And so
minute 45.
They're in the jungle. They're driving in the truck. They got that little jungle boy, and he's really awesome. And they drive the truck.
He was awesome.
He's that little kid is amazing.
That little kid's great. That
he's
opening was
cool.
great. Right.
They're looking for a skull. They go in the cave. Then the Phantom appears and like, I thought I killed you. Blah blah blah. And he kicks everybody. He like swings across. Da 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 da. Cut to New York City. They get away. They lost the skull. He's got to go. We meet Xander Drax. He's in his building. Dad, take it.
Well,
minute 20.
Minute 20.
My dad's not ready. Go, Ben.
Okay, they meet Xander Drax. There's this whole thing about maybe kind of like this weird Titanic thing with Kristy Swanson, where maybe he's in love with her, but who knows?
Yeah.
And then
we never see that guy again.
Never again. Kristy Swanson then goes to the jungle, right?
Yeah.
And then she goes there to find.
Well, she's going to find the symbol for the Zang Brotherhood. Okay, I'll take it. Here, let me just take it.
No,
She's going to find the Zang Brotherhood.
Yeah, that's right.
Then the evil guy Xander Drax kidnaps her, looking for with the plane full of women and the boat full of women, and that's when Kit Walker, aka the Phantom, finds out that he's got to go find Diana Palmer. 43 seconds. Then they're on the plane. He fights them off the plane. They go back to New York. They go back to New York to get the second skulls in the museum.
Yep, right.
That points them on a map to where they got to go. But Kit Walker's just his Phantom.
A great horse chase.
Horse chase through the city, and also an awesome cab driver. I love that horse chase.
Cab driver's the greatest.
He's 23 seconds. Then they go to the Devil's Backbone, or the Devil's Backbone's an airborne. The Devil's
Shang Tsung shows up.
Yeah, Shang Tsung. He's the leader. He's evil Cab by Sang. They have a really bad fight scene at the end. That's bad.
I agree.
You find out that there's 3 skulls, but the 4th skull is the Phantom's ring. He blows up the other skull. He rescues the girl. Other than that, they're supposed to get married. They're not sure if they're getting married. She flies off. Ready for a sequel. Phantom. 2 minutes.
That was great. That was all you.
Good.
You know why? Because my brain was trying to just be like, what did I see? The one thing I couldn't, the fight. We have to admit that the fight choreography in this movie
wasn't the best.
Looks like they shot the rehearsals and then ran out of time to shoot the real fights.
It was very slow. It was very Mortal Kombat-y.
Yeah, but Mortal Kombat, at least like half of them are martial artists fighting. Yeah. The issue is that like, I feel like anytime it was Billy Zane's stunt guy in the wide shots, it looked kind of cool. Anytime it was a close-up, it was just like,
yeah.
It was like you could see him go. It wasn't the best. You could see him go like, ready? And I miss you. It was like you could see the telegraphing of everything.
I'll tell you what, he wasn't the best fighter.
No.
There was also
whenever he drew the guns too, he looked really silly.
He did really look silly with those guns. You got to kind of admit that a little bit.
Well, why did he go like this? Why did he cross?
Yeah, that was amazing in the end when he's just like,
It's not good. It's not good aiming. Yeah,
not good aiming. But he got everybody.
I'll tell you the one really cool part though is with the guns is when he's sliding down the elevator.
Oh, I actually like that. I thought that was kind of fun.
Really cool.
That was cool. I liked that a lot.
That was fun.
And then, but here's 2 scenes fight wise where I'm just like, get out of the way. When the guy says light the cannon, the guy's like, light the cannon. What are you talking? Boom! The ball hits it. The guy could have just gone like the cannon can't move. He just gone like
the guy just stood there like, well, all right, I guess this is how I die. Cannonball to the face.
Yeah, and then the other one was
when he got hit, it looked kind of cool. It looked pretty cool.
Right.
I thought it was.
And then the other one was when he swings on the rope, and Cowboy Sang's like, Phantom! And he swings, and the Cowboy Sang just waits for him to kick him.
The best part is right before that. Phantom's being so sneaky. He's being so sneaky. He even sees Catherine Zeta-Jones. He's like, shh, don't tell anybody. And then what does he do? Hey, Shang Tsung, or whatever his name is.
Cowboy Sang.
He says his name, really long pause, and then he swings. It's like,
yeah. And
what was
Cowboy
the point
Sang,
of-
who's supposed to be the greatest pirate leader of all time, just doesn't dodge it. And then the fight scene between Phantom and Cowboy Sang is just like 3 punches, sharks. Like he doesn't.
That's another thing. Like how can?
Well, they drug up. No, first he has a sword fight with him.
Yeah, there is
a sword
that was
fight.
a decent fight.
Right.
That was because the guy who plays
and then
him
I
is
think
an
they
actual
just
martial
ran out
artist.
of time and said, "You're going in the water with the shark."
That's another thing. How did he not get out of that 2 feet of water before getting eaten? The sharks had already swam
No,
back.
it's deeper than you think.
It is?
It's a cave.
It's a cave.
Yeah.
They make reference that it's
submarine.
That it's
underwater.
under the ocean
Right.
floor. I'm like,
Right.
well, I don't remember them.
It's a cave. It's an underwater
I blacked
cave.
out during the part where I didn't even notice they got in a
Did you ever
submarine.
notice how that the both sharks, they swim parallel to one another?
Right.
They're just like
they're on a
dueling
pole, like they're
sharks.
on a pole.
Yeah, perfectly dueling
Here's
sharks.
the thing, there
See,
were-
it gets guilty when you start breaking it down a
Right,
little bit.
right.
One of my favorite moments, though, that is a super guilty moment, but that I laughed out loud, that I thought was intentional for once in the movie, was when they go to the museum and he's like, "Oh, it's right there." They're like, and she's like, "Oh, we should come back." And he just smashes it. He just smashes.
But you know what that's like?
And takes it.
To a non-guilty
It's so good.
movie is when in Guardians of the Galaxy, you saw Guardians, right?
Yes.
When they're talking about getting that thing, and Groot just
that
walks
was so
over
funny.
and he rips that
So
thing off
funny.
the wall.
That was one of my favorite moments.
I now know why when on Sunday afternoons my mom was getting ready for Sunday dinner and me and my dad were down in the basement watching Phantom, why she wasn't too pleased with us watching
I want to
the
know your
Phantom.
mom's opinion of the Phantom.
Mom?
Have you ever watched the Phantom in its entirety?
I did. I watched it a few days ago for the first time.
For the first time? Wait, they've seen it like dozens of times, and you somehow dodged that bullet?
I definitely found something else to do when they were watching the Phantom.
Lucky.
Because this just was never my thing. And so
I don't think it's many people's things.
And so as I'm watching it, I'm looking at it at the very beginning. I have like a gazillion questions because I'm not quite sure where the movie is going. But that's and he's telling me, and look at the dog. I said, that isn't a dog. Isn't that
That's
like
a wolf.
That's a wolf.
The wolf was cool. I like the wolf.
Yeah, the wolf was cool.
A dire wolf before George R.R. Martin even
Correct.
came around.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I like that.
And the
they-
white horse is the greatest thing in the world.
Well, you love white horses.
Right.
Yeah.
Lone Ranger.
Gandalf the White.
Right.
Yeah, Gandalf the White.
White. Lone
and
Ranger,
Lone
the white
Ranger,
horse.
silver. Yeah.
Right.
But I do think that they picked Billy Zane was the perfect character for the
What? Because you
Phantom.
think he's really handsome?
He's really handsome.
His lips bother me.
He's really
Well,
handsome.
here's the
he
thing-
worked out
Well,
for
don't
an
you think?
entire
Don't you think?
year.
Yeah.
He
Like
looks a lot like.
looks. Yeah, he looks a
Wait,
lot
but
like
did this come out after?
Yeah, this came out after. This is just recent.
There's a recent. Yeah,
Right.
it goes to
You know
lots.
what? I'm sure if I had read the Phantom comics, and there is, just because I know that this is a movie that you both cherish, not to completely crap all over it, there are some really
Did a good job of that.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're killing it.
feel so bad.
Just so you know, out of that $197,000, my dad and I were 30 of it. So
Right.
we had about a 0.01% stake in the Phantom franchise.
$30,000 or $30?
$30. Yes.
There are some pulpy, fun moments, and there's some. It's a movie that feels like a lot. In the '90s, they made a lot of these. They made like we were saying, Dick Tracy and Rocketeer. There were a lot of these kind of resurgent. The Shadow,
Yeah.
Right.
which I remember the Shadow not being that good, but I don't.
It wasn't terrible.
I don't remember. I remember seeing it and thinking it was okay, but I can't remember it that well.
Yeah.
But there are redeemable qualities to this. So just so you don't think I'm taking a dump on your favorite, I feel so bad. Usually I have a blast ripping into movies, but today I feel like I'm just tearing apart.
Well, my
this
dad's sitting there looking at his comics, going like, "I'm gonna go back into my basement."
I know.
I'm devalued now.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Begley is
Popcorn
crushing
talk
him.
is. I probably went down 30%.
Yeah. Or they went up because we were like, "We're defending John Macuga." in this.
So we can. What are your guys' favorite moments? Since I've said my least favorite moments, which is 90% of the film. What are your favorite moments?
One of my favorite moments, and I always like these kind of things, is when Billy Zane shows up to New York. work, and he pays the cabbie in jewels.
That's one of my.
That was awesome.
I know. I
liked when he paid
love
the
that.
fake carrots.
Right.
Yeah.
And the jewels.
And,
This is
and
blue
I love the
sapphire.
guy. He gets it appraised somehow in the 10
In the
minutes.
10 minutes, yeah.
Like,
he knows a guy around the corner.
He called
Get
a
him
mobile
appraised.
appraiser.
Yeah.
Hey, I just got these appraised. They're worth a lot of money. You can do whatever you want.
Also, the
cab
fight,
driver is great.
The fight on the boat when they've got him in the classic like action scene movie when the dog attacks the guy and then he takes and the three guys just fall off him.
Right.
And then she's held by the one guy and she just slips under and then balls punches him.
What about the net in the end when it's
Yeah.
like, cut the rope?
Right.
And 10 guys just like, oh, yeah, we can't figure out nets.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
what
love
do
when
we
that happens
do?
in movies. So, but my obviously I've said it before. My favorite part in the movie, and I always think about this. I know this makes my mom insane, but when if there's an elevator and it's like stalled, I'm like, well, I can just take guns and slide down.
Right.
I mean, everybody can take guns and slide down elevator wires.
John Macuga, what was some of your favorite moments?
Well, he stole my favorite moment with a cab driver, but I love when he's in the cave and the little guy comes around and calls him the ghost who walks.
Yeah.
And then she looks at him. She's, well, that's his name. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
Hello, Ghost Who Walks.
hello, ghost who walks.
Yeah.
Not Kit.
And it's cool
Not
that-
Walker. Not.
Yeah,
But and then he has all these jewels, and the pirates are still pirates.
yeah.
That's when we were kids. We loved because
Yeah.
anybody could. The Phantom had 2 guns,
Yeah.
which is great.
And he was just
so
a
you
good
could
fighter.
you could get a black mask at the 5 and 10 cent
It
store.
was John Woo before John Woo.
Right,
Yeah,
you know, and you get a purple hat and put on, stocking cap over your head.
Yeah.
And then
You were the
you
Phantom.
could, and all your buddies could be the pirates.
Oh, yeah.
Because pirates were easy to disguise. Everybody had wooden swords or
Yeah.
Yeah.
daggers or knives. So it was it was a human. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He was a human being. It wasn't like Superman where you're worried about kryptonite coming into the thing.
Right.
And I didn't know that when I first started watching it. I thought he was immortal. And then I didn't realize till, they reveal
There was
it.
400 years of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Phantom's been killed.
I like
many
the
times.
mythology of the Phantom a lot. I don't know if I like the execution. I think I'd like the comics a lot.
Look at Ben backpedaling because now he feels
I
bad
just
that he
feel
hurt your
terrible.
feelings.
I feel
wait.
so terrible.
But the other thing is he hung out with all these pygmies, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't do the pygmies in the movie. They
just-
should have had the little pygmies because
Yeah.
they were the guys that would be like.
Yeah, they don't do any justice to the
jungle.
The jungle,
Jungles, right?
like
right.
his-
the
his
tribal
heritage.
people.
And every time
Yeah.
he would get in trouble in the jungle, these little pygmies would they shoot these poisoned darts at people.
Yeah.
So he's tied
He
up.
always had backup.
He's always had backup, right?
Yeah.
And no one could see them because they were so little.
You know who
right?
who I compare the Phantom to just a little bit when you talk about like the people helping the off guy. So it's like white guy amongst the Aboriginal kind of people. It's like Crocodile Dundee. He's like Crocodile Dundee, but like
I can
it's
see
the
that.
same- you know what I mean? He's a human being, but he's
Right.
kind of a badass. He's got a
Right.
knife.
Right.
Phantom has guns.
Like what
that kind of
happened?
stuff.
What happened to those 2 bad guys when they're chasing him on the horses and then they scoop them up and they do
Yeah,
that really
yeah.
elaborate like Ewok village they
Yeah.
have,
Right.
and then they bring them up in the trees and then they're just gone.
They're gone.
They're gone.
They just leave him
I
behind.
would have loved it. I think this movie would have been a lot more entertaining if they just stuck to the jungle. I would have liked to have seen his life in the jungle with the pirates, more focused on just the pirates the whole
Not a bad
time.
call.
No.
And just him and how the inner workings of the tribal people that help him out would have been much more interesting than these weird waylays into. They go to New York like twice for no reason.
Yeah, they do go back and
and
forth
it's just
to
like,
New York all the time.
just stay in the jungle. It's every time they're in the jungle, it's cool. Like that stunt when I assume
The
it was
plane
a
to the horse?
I assume it was a miniature on the in the beginning when the car flips.
Yes.
And it blows up, but it looks good. It looks
Yes.
really cool.
Yeah.
And then the plane stunt. Tom Cruise ain't got
Oh,
nothing on the
I know.
Phantom.
The plane
my
stunt
God.
was cool.
Come on,
Plane stunt.
that's a real person hanging.
And when we
thousands of feet
we
in the
went
air.
on vacation a couple years ago, and we were by a lake, and there was seaplanes landing the whole time, and we kept going like Phantom.
Man,
It
we
was
could do
great.
this.
We could do it. It's the Phantom.
We could totally do
Get on
this.
that pontoon.
Let's go to some sound clips. We only have a few more minutes left on our Phantom episode.
I feel like I backpedaled sufficiently.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty
she
good.
did.
My dad hated you. Now you're back in the family, Ben. You're good. You're fine. My mom is on your side the whole time. She's
Oh, yeah.
she's
She's a
done
big
it.
fan.
I agree.
It's so hard to rag on something.
Can you
guys
go
love
to
so much.
Xander Drax? This is the most cartoonish, and this is how
Oh,
you get.
yeah.
I mean, he is so cartoonish in the way he speaks.
Oh
My
man.
name is Xander Drax.
What?
What? Xanderdrax. Xander Drax. begins and ends with the letter X.
I don't
New
think
York
that.
City.
New York City.
I don't think that that's what what is his name? Kang Dao.
Kabai Sang.
What?
Kabai Sang.
Kabai Sang. I don't think he was
Singh
actually
Brotherhood.
saying what. Repeat your name. I think it was more like, who the hell? Why are you
Yeah.
here?
Shut up, you stupid idiot.
Yeah, I don't think he needed
But I will
a
say
spelling
this.
bee lesson on his name.
If you're talking about the 40s, this is when it took place, right before World War II.
Right, 39, 38, 39.
Right. So this took place to World War II. A lot of people spoke like Xander Drax because you would listen to be like, "Come on out to the ballpark, buy some Luckies." You know, it's like that's how Xander
Right.
Drax spoke. It's like, "Welcome to ABC World News tonight. Tonight, headlines: A horse eats a man in the street." Like, you know.
I think not to get too thespian on us,
Okay.
but I think that my problem was it felt like he was just putting on a voice that it wasn't actually dropped in. Like, it's like when you see Daniel Day-Lewis do something super crazy, it's very dialed in.
Okay.
Like, There Will Be Blood, his voice is out of this world weird, but it works. Or Abraham Lincoln, it's weird, but it's dropped in. This was just like, well, I watched something and I just decided to do this voice.
Yeah, I mean, I get you. I'm not.
That's probably
disagreeing.
like how I would do it.
Yeah.
I would do the Xander Drax, not the Daniel
Treat
Day-Lewis.
Williams. I mean, naming your kid Treat too. Also,
Well, my wife hated
Treat.
Sax because of when he made the guy look into the
Oh, and he cut his eyes out.
cut his eyes.
Oh, that was a dark moment.
I thought that was horrible.
Well, he's so
I just could
was
see it
really
coming.
bad.
I knew
Yeah,
it was
I knew it too.
coming.
so violent, even though it was
way
off camera.
too violent.
And he
And
was
then,
just a
and then he
librarian.
throws the spear. Like,
Oh, through
yeah.
the mobster.
it's like, wait a minute, when did this guy get so?
Yeah, he's a thug.
And then he's like, that was the cannonball was my favorite moment. And then also,
Wait, the end. My favorite is when they're fighting with the three skulls and thing. Jonathan, the clip is called "Unbelievable." The sound he makes when he actually dies and is exploded is my favorite sound of the movie. Listen to this. It's like he just went down a water slide.
it's like Napoleon on the water slide in Bill and Ted.
Yeah, play that again for us real quick, Jonathan. So he's doing the Michael Jackson moonwalk into it, and
Yeah, what is that?
And then
Why
he's-
does he lean like din din?
but he's so excited to die. Like, he's like,
And then when he blows up, it's the worst
oh,
special effect.
it's really
Did
bad.
you also notice how bad the gun flare effects were whenever it like hit a tree or something?
No, I didn't.
Whenever it hit a tree, it looked like
Ben, he picks out the weird stuff.
No.
man, I'm
It's
telling you.
and maybe it's because I was watching on HBO Go in HD, but it looked like just like these weird like total like Sega CD graphics of like instead of actually having like practical effects of the guns going off.
Oh, okay.
I
I missed
You
it.
remember this was 97.
geeked out.
Yeah.
I geeked out too much. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
I also noticed a scene where it rains constantly in Legally Blonde that I want to get into in the next thing.
Okay.
The last thing I want to say is
go.
the only phantom criminal that never went to prison for kidnapping, murder, anything was Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Jones.
You almost got it.
It was her name.
Yeah,
Zelda.
Sala.
She did a whole lot of bad stuff,
did a
and
lot
then
of
at the
things,
end
and
it's like, hey, we're just gonna fly off.
Yeah.
But no, in the comic books too, he never sends her to prison.
Because he likes her.
He has some kind of crush, even though he's married to Diane. They have
Yeah,
kids.
So are all the characters in this based on?
Comic book.
Because you know how sometimes a comic book movie or a video game movie comes
no,
out and it has nothing to do with anything.
No,
It's like
all
Xander
these-
Drax and all of them are in
Right.
it. See, that's cool. If I read the comics and then, especially given the 90s standards, like I went and saw, Fantastic Four, the original in theaters in like 2005 or whatever, and I was like, it was okay because Iron Man hadn't happened yet.
Right.
So if you judge this by 90s comic book standards, the bar was very low.
Of course.
Other than Tim Burton's Batman.
Yeah.
And Dick Tracy. So if you, at that time, we were just clamoring for anything
Right.
that was a live action
And it's
version.
unfortunate because even back then, I still think this movie would have held up. I like this movie.
I can't talk. I watched Generation X, that terrible TV movie with Max Headroom as the good guy or the bad guy in it, and
You're
just
looking at my dad just doubting you.
No,
now.
it's so bad. It's one of the worst movies ever made. But as a kid, because it was X-Men, like sort of X-Men in live action, I was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Just like Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh,
I was
God, that's the
obsessed.
worst. I was obsessed with the cards, not the movie. Yeah, we have them in the basement.
We
Still have 'em in the basement.
all
If you have
Garbage
Series
Pail
1,
Kids.
I will buy that off of you.
Oh, I'm sure.
There are a lot of them there.
Yeah, we have a
they
lot.
They are extremely disgusting.
Jonathan, we have one more quote, I believe. It's called "Good Samaritan."
Good Samaritan.
Good Samaritan.
That's so Billy Zane. Like, who are you? I'm a good Samaritan.
Wait, did we play No One Refuses the Phantom yet?
Yeah, we played it at the end. We played that like at the end. Anyway, you can play it again. No One Refuses the Phantom.
No one refuses the Phantom.
I want that to be like my ringtone. Can you play it again, Jonathan?
No one refuses the Phantom.
Now I don't know if you do. I don't know if you know this story.
Yes, I was hoping we were going to do something.
There was a roller coaster at an amusement park in Pittsburgh called Kennywood.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you've ever seen the movie Adventureland with Kristen Stewart and Ryan Reynolds, that's shot at Kennywood in Pittsburgh.
Movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we had a ride. It was called the Steel Phantom, and now the Phantom's Revenge is what it's called. And when I was younger, I didn't have a real growth spurt, and I went to the thing and said, "You must be this tall to ride the ride." And I was about right under here, and I leaned into the woman in Pittsburgh, and I said right to her face,
No one refuses the Phantom.
Every single improv that came into my head was filthy. And then I was like, I can't do any of these because your parents are here. And then I hit like Control-Alt-Delete on all of them.
Well, then that's a good way to go out on this episode of Phantom. Dad, thank you for being on this episode.
Thank
of
you.
Phantom.
I've enjoyed it.
He's got you got all kinds of Phantom comics and everything. Guys, my dad isn't on Twitter, Facebook. He doesn't even have an iPhone. So just you can tweet me and tell how much you loved him, or on Facebook or whatever. Again, follow me on Twitter at Josh Macuga. My show Between the Sheets, youtube.com/Between the Sheets TV. We'll be right back with at Ben Begley Comedy. We have any new pictures of
Funhouse Massacre? Yeah, Funhouse Massacre released, I can't remember if I said this last week, all the villains on Dread Central did an exclusive release. We've also been rolling out some images of the heroes, myself, the sheriff, Renee's images, the character of Laurie's coming out soon. So we're rolling out a lot, and we actually have a sneak peek of it at Horror Hound in Indianapolis next week. So
nice.
If you're in Indianapolis, hit me up on Twitter, and I can try and swing something. I don't know if I can. I'll try. I have no idea what the ticket situation is.
If there's anything Ben is really good at doing, it's swinging things at cons. Like, you get people into cons.
People into cons. Yeah. That's what I do. I've got half the Schmoes crew.
Exactly.
Didn't help me in the Schmodown.
Sure did not. Guys, The Phantom, the 1996 starring Billy Zane. If you haven't watched it, go out and check it out. I personally love it. I know me and my dad love it.
I love it.
Always be a great movie between us, and Ben hated it, and my mom is somewhere. Come see, come saw. Who knows? So stick around, guys. There's a link in the description below. Just stay in the popcorn.net. We're going to come right back with Legally Blonde. My mom will be up here on the desk, and we'll talk about Woods, L. Until the next time, what is your guilty movie pleasure?
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.